You're now listening to the Zod and Drea podcast.
And welcome back, everyone.
All right, welcome back to the Zod and Drea podcast.
Wow, so another amazing week, right?
Yeah, so it's been a big week, of course. Brett Kavanaugh finally got in as Supreme Court Justice. We knew he was going to because Republicans, they don't care who they put forward as long as they get through and they get their way.
And we knew with this administration coming in, that was their main goal.
Yeah, that was their main goal. They already got one guy who didn't have a problem, Neil Gorsuch. They were like, okay, he seems cool. Yeah, we'll just throw him in there, no problem. This guy who had one of the most flawed interviews for a job, Brett Kavanaugh, he comes in and he's just absolutely filthy and disgusting, and they still didn't care. They needed to push him through because they have an agenda to push.
So they got their way.
Yeah, so they got their way, of course, because we knew that was what they were going to do. So anyway, that's one of the big weeks. And of course, Republicans wind up acting even weirder because they don't believe in women a lot. So we are seeing a lot of pushback, and these next elections are going to be wild.
Next 4 weeks are going to be just a wild ride, like you said. It's going to be pretty great.
Like, who knows what's going to wind up happening.
Also, a shout out to the newlyweds, Janita and Uwa. We attended their wedding. We actually had some time away, and we got to enjoy their wedding. So congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations, Janita and Uva. You guys, it was really nice. It was a lot of fun. Congratulations to Carrie for officiating because she looked great doing it. Hey, we also got to make sure we give a shout out to Brianna and Mike DeGeese. DeGeese.
That is your boy.
That's my man, Mike.
They
Mike
are celebrating the arrival of their baby girl.
Yes, who will be coming through soon.
Baby DeGoose will be here on the planet soon.
It's the Goise.
The Goise. Oh, sorry.
It doesn't matter.
Sorry,
so shout out to them because we love them. But let's get into it real quick. We are going to have a movie review of Venom. Venom. So we're going to saw Venom this weekend. And of course, people, today is the last day you can register to vote. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and the impact that it's going to be having on your lives, at least here in Arizona. There's some other states that is a little different, but it's definitely here in Arizona where this is the last time.
And what is our topic for today?
And the topic for today is, when does a political party begin to look like a cult?
It's a personality.
I'm telling you. So we're going to just get into this right now. Let's talk about, let's talk about Venom.
Okay, Venom was a good time. I'm a huge Tom Hardy fan. Y'all didn't know this. And to me, I was like, all right, let's check this out. I really didn't know the history of Venom so much. I didn't follow so much on comic books. I think, didn't Venom come out in one of the Spider-Man, like they tried to, or the symbiotes? Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yeah, so he's originally from Spider-Man. They actually touched on it on Spider-Man 3.
That's the one. Okay.
Even though that outfit was dope, like the Black Spider, the movie was terrible, but that outfit was dope. They really did a good job with that.
I remember that movie so much, but this one, when I saw that Tom Hardy was starring in it, I thought, of course, I have to see this.
Tom Hardy's a good-ass actor. I mean, it doesn't matter what he does. It's Tom Hardy,
right.
So...
You're going to get intense. You're going to get kooky. You're going to get, if you want somebody that's playing a person that is being overrun by a voice in their head, he'd be the man.
Pretty much. I mean, he doesn't channel Bane. I mean, this is a guy who has played Bane. He's played that, comic book character, and he's also now played Venom, a Marvel character. So he went from DC to Marvel. And, I'm trying to remember, did he play any other characters? I can't remember. I don't know if he has. I don't know if he's done any. For some reason in my head, I feel like he has. But anyway, he comes in here as Venom. So basically, he plays Eddie Brock, who's like this hard-nosed. I guess he's a reporter. Kind of like he kind of reminds us of us, sort of, except he's just more hard-nosed. He gets into it. And he has a girlfriend. He has a life. Everything is good. Everything's just love.
I mean, engaged, living a great life, great
Apartment
apartment in San Francisco. Did you see that expensive
Eddie Brock
place?
is doing
expensive. And
Get
then,
it, Eddie. And then, he finds a story that his publisher is like, yo, you got to go in the story, do a soft fluff piece, no big deal. But then, Eddie does something a little grimy, gets a little bit of info and some intel, and then during his interview, he starts bombarding the guy who's really rich, really powerful. This is the dude. And he's been working on some stuff in space.
Right. This is a scientist that on the public persona that think that he's helping humanity and he's just this great philanthropist. But on the truth is that he is the grimiest of grimes.
Yeah, so he's a little bit of grimy. So they go ahead
bit.
He's a little grimy.
Yeah.
Little grimy. So he's a little grimy. I forgot his name. Whatever. Because all I really cared
Dr.
about
Grime.
was Dr. Grime. Yeah, that's his new name now.
That's your new Marvel name. It's Dr. Grime.
Dr. Grime. So it's a symbiote from the symbiote. God, now all of a sudden I can't say it. Symbiote. Why do I want to say symbiote?
Symbiote. Okay.
God. Anyway, that comes out of space and they have a crash and of course a few of them got out, but they do have some. So it's a whole whirlwind about Eddie winding up, obviously, if you know the story, you've read the comic books or even you know anything, shoot, if you've even seen Spider-Man 3, then you'll know that Eddie gets infected with this thing. But they had a nice little take on this, on how they did it, and it was fun. Like, to me, the movie was fun. It wound up, you can't take it seriously. Yes, they're going to have some really weird spots.
Yeah, where we're like, really?
Symbiote.
Did that happen? Did that? But again, you're in a universe. You're in this comic book universe.
Yeah, so symbiote just takes over, but it's the way that Venom also takes over not just his head, but I like how it started speaking to him, and then eventually almost an embracing sort of. But it's like, is this thing a parasite? Is this a disease? Is it hurting him? What is it? What is it doing to poor Eddie? And of course, more come. You got to stay for the ending because it is a Marvel movie.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to get a little bit of a little surprise if you know anything about it. So they're not going to just leave you off there. So apparently what they're doing, I think, is they are, now that they have Spider-Man who is attached to, Sony is kind of taking advantage of it by letting some of the other characters that they have the Venom character. Sony still has Venom character. They didn't let that one go. So they're trying to build off of the Spidey momentum. They're building off of that. So that's why they have Venom and a few of the other symbiotes and all that.
That's going to be cool.
So they're going to probably try and start up their own little universe and try to, really get into it. So, because Sony, they're like, look, man, we got to get some dough now. We got all these characters. Everyone else is making comic movies. So now it's our turn. But I'd say, I'd recommend it.
Definitely. $80 million it made.
80 million is a lot. 80 million is a lot of cheese. But anyway, let's continue on. This is what we really want to get into also, because today, Tuesday, October 9th, here in Arizona, this is the last day that you can register to vote for the next election.
And the election that we're referring to is the election happening on November 6th.
So this one's a big one because you are not just voting for some of your local representatives, your state senators, but you're also going for the U.S. senator as well as the governor. These are people who wind up really controlling your lives. Mm-hmm. These are the people who control your lives really up close. See, everybody usually always comes and shows up over at the federal elections, such as the presidential election, things like that. But they don't take the time to just know their own system. And I can't blame people because it's almost like they don't, I guess what, they don't study it in school anymore. They don't allow people to know who is running in their district. It's not really common knowledge, and that's why people wind up running, winning, and you don't know why your taxes went up. You don't know why your school went. Right. Like, you don't know anything. You don't know who to call. You don't know how this happened. And it's because you didn't vote. You didn't get into the process. If everybody was civically engaged civically, and had an understanding of the political process, do you know how much power you would have to control? People say, oh, I vote. It's not going to matter. That's what you get. Oh, if I vote. Mm-hmm. And what's funny is a lot of people who say that are people who've never voted. That's what's even funnier. But these are people who've never voted before. Oh, if I voted, well. you don't know that. Number one, you haven't voted. Number two, you haven't gotten all your friends to vote.
Right.
Number three, you haven't made a big deal about voting. So how are you going to know if there's a demographic out there that is voting at a higher percentage than you are, and they're getting everything that they want, and you're getting nothing, but you're the one questioning, well, if voting doesn't matter. Yeah, because you're not voting.
Exactly. And they expect you not to vote. So, of course, they are expecting the status quo. Of course, they're going to want to pander then to the people that are voting consistently, because that's what's given them these benefits. That's what's given them this comfy seat. So they're expecting those that say, I don't want to vote, to not vote. And we're saying, look, this is a very rare time in Arizona politics right now where so many seats are up for election. One of them is Arizona Superintendent of Public Instruction.
That's education, people.
That is the one that oversees the curriculum for the public schools in Arizona. That's huge. Speaking about education, I mean, that one is such a direct impact for the community. So that is definitely one you want to look out for. What's another one? That's another seat you were talking about.
Oh, no, I was talking about governor. Just some things. There's Secretary of State.
Mm-hmm. Corporation commissioner.
The corporation commissioner's up. These are people that control, your water and... they're like your electric bill.
Mm-hmm. Which businesses can be conducted here in the States.
Do you understand how big this is? Even mine inspector, mine inspector
is important, and it impacts in so many aspects of your life. So this is a great time for you to really get involved in finding out then about these seats, how they impact you. And it's not like you always say, your power is your vote. That's the power that you have. That is the power that we all have now. And it's really crucial to know and to make sure that you use the power the best way possible.
The Attorney General is up for election here in Arizona.
Top attorney in the state.
Come on, people. Think of the state as a little United States, government. That's what's up. The governor's like the president. The Attorney General is like the United States Attorney General. These are people who affect you. The state treasurer is here. That's the whole financial everything of the entire state. And these are open. So one thing you can't do also moving forward is when you complain and you say, oh, they're not doing anything. We got to put good people in front of us in order to elect them, and they're putting bad people. That always makes me say, well, why didn't you run? Are you trying to tell me that you're a bad person? You would be a horrible candidate? Nobody would vote for you? You're just a piece of crap and that nobody would want. You can't even say all that. Now, if you understand the process, the political process, you'll understand a lot of people have jumped into these races because they've been so frustrated about what's been going on.
Yeah, more than ever.
Maybe they stopped saying, hey, you know what? Voting doesn't matter to me. Maybe they stopped saying, you know what? They should stop putting these terrible candidates in. I don't know. Let's just move on.
Go vote.
Please listen carefully.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Zod.
And I'm Drea.
And we want you to check out the Zod and Drea podcast every Tuesday.
Where can everybody find us at?
You can always check us out on www.zodanddrea.com.
Where else?
You can always check us out also on Facebook at Zod and Drea.
Instagram?
Zod and Drea.
Snapchat?
Zod and Drea.
YouTube?
Zod and Drea.
I see a pattern.
So if you haven't caught that, catch us at Zod and Drea on all the social networks. But also, make sure you subscribe to the Zod and Drea podcast. Where?
At zodanddrea.com.
And also on YouTube and iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio. We're coming for you.
Let us know what you think. And if you want to be a guest, reach out to us.
And put all of your input into whatever our topics are for the week. So we hope to check you out and see you there.
Bye. We're back.
All right, we're back. Just to continue on. Sorry, I got cut off there. I was overrunning my turn. But the whole process is this is the last day to register to vote, and we want you to have your voice heard. So make sure you do it. Okay, otherwise somebody's going to vote for you. They're going to vote in your place. And guess what? You may not like what they pick. So check it out.
Go do it.
All right. Let's get back into it. So the topic today is, when does a political party begin to look like a cult? And this is one of the reasons why you should be voting. Now, we're obviously Zod and Drea. We can do these things. We have our sides, as you know. We are progressives. We like to move things forward. That's what you do when you progress.
Mm-hmm.
You move forward. You reestablish what you've gone through in the past. It's like, okay, let me check this out. All right, I'm gonna reiterate. All right, I'm gonna look. Okay, I don't like that. And then you're gonna move forward with a better result. You're like, okay, I've learned my lesson. I'm gonna move forward. I am progressing. Now, unfortunately, we have some people here in the United States who wind up regressing. And it's funny that somebody said that because, I always say that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But we're always regressing. We are regressing. We are going backwards. People want to make America great again because they consider America not great now. It's not great for them because they think, oh, you know what? Coal would be just the most amazing thing to bring back. This would be just so frigging dope if we just brought coal. They want to make sure that women are in the kitchen and, you better not question rape anymore. And if
I'm not paying for their birth control with my insurance.
No.
What? No.
Make America great
No.
again. Back when you just didn't question your husbands. He brought the bacon home and you just cooked it, and that was
and
it.
you needed
girl.
to get his permission to have a bank account.
Woo!
Good
Isn't
Lord.
that when America was great? When women who were raped had to keep it inside, and if you keep it in for too long, you better not tell anyone because then it's worthless information, and you better not do it because you can ruin his life.
You don't want to embarrass him.
Oh my God.
No.
So this is what we're talking about. We are talking about a certain political party, but we will also talk about the Dems, but let's just talk about the Republicans for a minute. Now, at one point, the Republicans weren't always like this, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the ideologies of the conservatives, if you want to call them that, were always like this. See, what people do is they mistake political parties for ideologies. And it's like, okay, Republican, yes, even though the Republicans have a party platform, just like the Democrats have a party platform, people who love to ignore the fact that the parties had switched in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, looking up the Dixiecrats, like just looking up information on why, just look up Strom Thurmond. I mean, please, geez. But they don't look at the overall picture as into what? Republicans, yes, Republicans freed the slaves. What, are black people supposed to be happy and then be a Republican? When Republicans, okay, so you're going to free slaves, but at the same time, you want to claim to be the same people who freed slaves when you are caging children up who cross the border and separate them from their family for months.
And blaming the mom.
And blame the mom for wanting to escape, into an asylum from...
Like it's not our fault that in the country you're coming from, there's no jobs and you're being abused
or even
and
war-torn.
Your children are threatened. It's not our fault.
But yet the same political party wants to claim that they were not the party. The Democrats were the party of the KKK. But why are Republicans waving Confederate flags and fighting for Confederate soldiers if it was Lincoln who fought against the Confederacy? See, you can't be a Republican both ways. You can't be the one waving the Confederate flag, but yet saying Lincoln was awesome for freeing black people and fighting against the Confederacy. You're either one or the other. You can't vote for a guy who calls black countries in Africa and in Haiti shithole countries. Okay, we're running into like $1 trillion deficit. We have lower ass wages. We imprison more people per capita than like any other country. We shoot more people than any. But these
labor. I mean, think about it. Even the workforce. We used to have such a great impact when it came to the support from unions, and we were always were there to be the first one to promote workers' rights across the globe, and that's dwindling now.
It's like we've gotten to a time where even other countries are laughing at the president on the world stage in front of the United Nations, to where we become such a joke. So, when this political party then makes excuses every single time, they make excuses for ill behavior. He made fun of John McCain.
Mm-hmm.
John McCain was like 1,000th of the man that this guy was. So one guy goes into war, gets shot down, holds out for 5 years, gets his arms busted up. The other guy says, my feet hurt. I can't fight in your war 5 times.
Right.
But the political party now, which is now the Republicans, are the party of Trump. They are now the party of Trump, and they have to own up to that. And what's funny is history is going to man, history's going to look so badly on these times, like so badly. When people look back and like, oh my God, Dad, you were into this guy? Like, it's going to look really badly. But they're so short-sighted.
And we have to be cautious, too, and really be aware of regarding history, because this administration, the arms that it's reaching into so many departments, example, the Department of Education. How many times have we read about how different policies are being brought up in the Department of Education that are impacting women reporting any type of violence on campus, about different things being removed from textbooks.
Yeah, they keep doing that, removing things, all kinds of things from textbooks.
So it's like, if it's not in a textbook, we all know, then how are kids going to learn about history? So we got to be really aware of what's happening.
So, like what Drea's talking about is them removing Hillary Clinton in Texas schools.
Texas. Mm-hmm.
And removing Hillary Clinton as if she is now all of a sudden not a political figure. And what's funny is if you listen to the MAGA people, they're like, oh, good, she doesn't need to be in there. See, and this is what a cult following does. You know, someone should be like, you know what, that is history. And then people are like, oh, you know what, no, they should. So she should be removed, but the Confederate statues that were placed in the positions that they are in order to, most of them, were in order to intimidate black people during Jim Crow. So it's almost like someone, shooting your mother and then, placing a bloody picture of her in front of your face all the time and laughing, like in public, and not being able to do anything about it. That's what that is. Like, that's what that is. It's like, but this doesn't hurt. It's like it does. It's a constant reminder that white supremacy is here and being just lambasted in our faces. And when you do that, we want it removed. We want it removed, but then your fight against the removal of that, trying to equate it to pretty much anything that's a museum. Instead of it being in a museum, we should just leave it alone. This is white supremacy, and this is why the Trump administration has changed the Republicans to what they are now. Now, what's his name? Reagan was no good, but at least Reagan, he wanted amnesty for
refugees.
Immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
He
and
wanted
refugees.
Same
too.
with Bush 1.
Yes.
Bush 1 actually did too. He wanted to find a path to citizenship. All of a sudden, something happened, but now it's like, let's take the travel ban. They call it the travel ban, but originally Trump called it what it is, the Muslim ban.
Mm-hmm.
He chose mostly Muslim, saying, oh, this is where terror, and they weren't. In fact, Saudi Arabia is where bin Laden and all his boys were supposedly, came in and did his thing, but who has business deals with Saudi? So
yes, exactly.
So when you see the cult following of his supporters who support him no matter what, let's get into Kavanaugh. You want to take this one over?
So let's talk about then how this. Okay, first of all, we already talked about the awful interview. Literally, what was displayed to the nation and the globe last week was the worst interview ever for the person that was interviewing for the top lawyer seat in the country, right? And now what we've seen then from that was this rally of the good old boys behind him, right? It was like the fraternity of 70-year-olds that came out of the woodwork that just circled him and protected him and bashed any woman, because there were multiple women that came out to report the different types of incidents that they had encountered with him. And even some of his college friends were talking about, like, yeah, this guy drank a lot. And you had so much evidence to prove that no matter what, this guy just isn't stable, period. Like, why do I want this guy to rule on many laws that could affect, again, what is it, Roe versus Wade, sexual harassment, when he obviously doesn't even think straight about this. So you look at what that proof was, right? But then again, you saw the cult that protected him and made the women out to be the villains, made anybody that spoke against what their boy was representing and their choice, made them try to feel wrong and low, and are just now like prancing around like a bunch of peacocks. And don't even get me started about oh gosh, I forgot her name, the one that chose, the Republican, the woman,
Kellyanne?
Not Kellyanne, the one that voted yes for him.
Oh, we're talking about Susan Collins.
Oh man, don't get me started on that.
Because Murkowski was able to break ranks. But then we also had Joe Manchin, who broke ranks from the Democrats in order to. So there were some people who, Joe Manchin is a Republican, and he's just using a Democrat name for no reason. But Susan Collins is a woman who should have seen that another woman, like, after listening to all the Me Too stories and the women who had been just brutally raped, and you see this cult following of people who just chose to want to believe in their party, in the future of their party, but only in the short term. See, all of these people, they're going to be in trouble in the midterms. They're also going to be in trouble when they're up for re-election. But they wound up putting someone in office in order to, what do they say, to protect Trump, to protect him from being impeached, but also to try to possibly like overturn some things like Roe vs. Wade, maybe fully overturn the Voter Rights Act. I mean, they're trying to turn America back into when people only had power when they were white male, quote unquote Christian.
Yep.
We see what they're doing.
And making a certain amount of money, too.
And make a certain amount of money. So, the poor whites won't be in there, but at least they're white, They'll still have a leg up. When you wind up seeing this and you see that the darkening of this country is what is scaring white men so badly that even white women will follow in tow, because remember, 53% of them did vote for Donald Trump. So trusting white women in these elections is not really in my favor, and you can call it what you want. This is nothing that I am favoring, and I don't believe that they will have enough nerve to break ranks because they will vote their husbands. Some of them, I think, want to go back to 1953 for whatever reason.
And I don't understand.
We don't understand it. Because, Hillary Clinton may have been a flawed candidate, but we are talking about her being erased out of a history book when she was all right, let's back up. She was an attorney. Mm-hmm. She's a mother.
Yes. First
Lady, junior senator, then Secretary of State. She was also the first woman to ever have a nomination in a major political party for president. She broke so many freaking glass ceilings. Like, if you're trying to tell me that a TV game show host is a better person to take over the reins of Barack Obama, because you claim that Barack Obama was the worst president ever and the most racist president. It's funny that, as a cult following, you're going to see that. Then a woman would just be too much for you. You need to have a white man control you.
The New York Times just released this 2-year investigation on Trump's finances, right? And then they find millions and millions of dollars,
like $400 million,
that he owes in taxes, and that he was also granted as a kid.
That's what I was talking, $400 million.
He kept saying oh no, I started my businesses just from $1 million from my dad. They are proving
a small loan of $1 million.
No, he was a millionaire by the time he was 8 years old. His parents and his family knew how to use the system, how to work it to their benefit, to hide the money so that it would benefit him. Another lie that has been proven. But who's going to listen?
So whenever people wind up putting these things in front of you, and you get this cultist mentality from his people, we're leading people like Ben Carson and Kellyanne Conway and Jared Kushner, and of course that psycho Nazi Stephen Miller.
What Latinos on the White House?
Oh God. If you wanted to have fun, look up what's her name, Kellyanne Conway, trying to name the black people, the major black people in his cabinet. They can't. It's it's very white. It's very cultish, and we see what they're doing. And it's up to other people to see it too. But the one thing is, a lot of white women, they are not going to give up their privilege as white women more than they will as women. They will keep their privilege as white over women. And that is why Judge Kavanaugh got through. And you still have women who are like, well, I think she was raped, but not by him.
Yeah. Sorry. At least she was heard.
Yeah, at least she was heard. And you have to be careful about that. When one political party winds up being a cult, and when you get caught up in that, you'll see. As for the Dems, they try and say, oh, well, Antifa. This isn't that. This isn't that at all.
No. And we've done self-reflection. We know that the party that we usually vote with, they've got their flaws too. And I know we vote we know they got lots of flaws.
Oh, and I go in on them.
Yeah.
But this cult mentality, this is disgusting. It's disturbing, and it's not going to be good for the country. Anyway, you know what to do, people. You got to check us out and let us know what you think. Make sure you follow us on www.zodandrea.com as well as everywhere on all the social medias.
Hey, even upload any pictures of you registering today. If you're still registering to vote, send us some pictures of you turning that in today.
Yeah, that'll be good. Make sure you do that. Go ahead, register to vote, register your friends, and we'll see you on November 6th, all right?